The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 23rd day of January 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Alindo's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sencha Dorm, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sencha, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Jamal. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually had an easy weekend this weekend, so I'm good.
Yeah, I didn't got no Gumby videos, but how was your weekend? What'd you do?
You don't even want to hear the story about Gumbies. I felt like a bad mom. Maddox was complaining the last time that his feet were hurting, so I got him new Gumby shoes, and I wasn't thinking. I just threw them in the bag, and you know when they're going on a long dance like that, you're not supposed to put them in new shoes. Apparently, the shoes I got him were too big. They hurt his feet. So by the time you messaged me saying send footage, he was on my back because his feet hurt so much. I feel so bad.
These gotta be broken in, and
No, I know. I'm sorry.
Maddox got a blister or two or something, or it's good.
I think I picked him up in time.
Okay, all right.
I redeemed myself. This is a big boy for me to have him on my back, actually carrying him to the beat of the drum.
Well, yeah, and get your little Gumby shake on while he's on the back. Yeah.
He's heavy.
I saw a post and I'm like, I ran straight to the group. Sancha, that's Sancha gets the best footage, folks. Honestly, she randomly, because I don't know when they're gonna be out, so she'll just be like, send something at times. So now it's just got me in this habit. Whenever I see a post, I'm like, Sancha, footage, please, whatever. But no, I like a little Gumby.
We tapped out early.
Yeah.
Okay. 8:00 we tapped out.
All right. Well, Sancha, so everyone who knows me or has followed me on social media knows I love this time of year living in South Florida. Even before we were in South Florida, when we lived in New York, we would go to polo once a year. It was only once a year up there. So polo season, it's officially polo season here in South Florida, the capital of polo in the world. And we went yesterday for the first time, and it was... So I think, folks, if you know polo, Sancho was born for polo. And I'm just like, why? And I said, you've been to polo? She's like, no, I've been meaning to go. So, Sanch, I am challenging you to come down here and experience polo. It's like going to the Kentucky Derby. It's a real experience, folks.
I already have my hat in mind. I know what hat I want to wear. I know what outfit I want to wear. Listen, it's on my list. Definitely on my list.
I think yesterday was one of the first times I've gone to polo without a suit or a jacket on. I felt underdressed for the first time, but it's an experience. And then for some reason, I'm actually into the event now. Like before, I just go to enjoy it. And now I pick a team and
these things happen as you get older, right? You get like more involved in the actual event itself.
Yeah.
You know what I did do recently? I didn't tell you about it. I went to Bermuda Tourism's dinner the other night. They flew in a chef. Forgive me, I feel so bad. I can't remember her name. That's bad, isn't it?
On Burrell or Burrell?
Yes.
I think Maya reported on it. I think that's why I made it.
Let me say this, Jamal, there is a group of people out there, and we really want to get out of the house, and we were older crowd. We want to have experiences and we want to enjoy ourselves. It was extremely enjoyable. I feel like tourism is trying to add an experience. But the one thing I will say, and I'm just being brutally honest, nobody take my head off. How do we get tourists to these events? That's all I'm gonna say. So, but it was, I feel like tourism, they invested and created an experience. It was an amazing experience. But I mean, it just wasn't any tourism. So maybe it's what we've been told before, create the vibe and the people will come. I'm hoping that at some point we can figure out how we get tourists in that room to experience, because it was a lot of history that was told, stuff that I didn't know, right? It was enjoyable.
I'll say this much, that I'm a fan of restaurant weeks. I am. I think it's really about converting it into tourist dollars rather than locals. I a bit disagree, and this is just based on my experience outside of Bermuda. I believe that experiences should be created by the locals. I think the Bermuda Tourism Authority does a great job of supporting locals who create experiences. I don't believe that, and I'm a firm believer in this, I don't believe that it should be up to government or government funds or quangos to create these experiences. There are entrepreneurs out there. That's what we've done where I live. We will no longer be partaking in it. It will be up to the individual entrepreneurs. They're the ones that will be doing it, and we'll be supporting their efforts. So it made no sense for us to donate money to such a thing when there's entrepreneurs out there that can actually do this. So that's my take on it. But folks, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We do have a good one today, as we're gonna be discussing what we can do to keep Bermudians in Bermuda. Yeah, I know. Before focusing on how Bermuda can attract top talent. And with all these, I mean, if you check it, I think Apple is the only large tech company that hasn't had layoffs as of yet. And I was trying to read this article, but I don't pay for news. I think news should be free. I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I love doing this show, because I believe discussing what's happening should be a matter of public interest. But the Wall Street Journal had a paywall to see this story about why Apple's the only company that has survived laying people off. But Google, Microsoft, Amazon, you name it, they've been, thousands of people off. So we'll talk about what Bermuda can do to attract this talented people that have been laid off. The Daily Play, little who said it. Don't forget, folks, if you don't know, the show is now available live on our website, thedailyhour.com. So you no longer need social media to tune in live to us. So if you haven't already, please subscribe on our website and follow us on all our social media channels. But before we get into today's conversation, I just want to get the week kicked off with a little funny. Little funny. Wonder if Maya wants a piece of this funny. Yeah. I think Maya, she needs your support, please. She needs your support. All right, folks, it's joke time. Good morning, Maya. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here for the joke.
Yes, thank you. Welcome.
Early for Sancho.
Thank you, Maya.
This is an easy one. Here's the joke, folks. Here's the joke. What kind of hair do oceans have?
Seaweed.
That's funny, though. She said seaweed.
What kind of hair does oceans have?
Yeah, what kind of hair do oceans have?
Coils.
Ready?
Oh gosh, let's go.
Wavy hair. Get it? Waves, ocean, wavy.
I like mine better.
Miles Moore's better. Oh boy, give it to me. Good. Okay, see you later, Maya. What up, anyway, good morning to you, Marcia. I saw Sancha letting her hair down at this event. Oh, really? I don't know where she put it. Sean DeShield says, please don't get him started on Bermuda Tourism's challenges. No, I'm not going there today. And see, Tanya Cheeseman knew that one. Yes, it's wavy. It's wavy. So let's get into it. The question, folks, discussion question right now. What needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda? So I'm just going to bring up, if she doesn't mind, well, Maya did a story, and I'm saying a story. She did a poll, and basically the question that Maya had asked on social media is, how likely are you to spend the rest of your life in Bermuda? And 508 people took part in this poll on Twitter. And again, the question, how likely are you to spend the rest of your life in Bermuda? 26% said very likely this is home. 41.1% said not likely, I'm leaving. And 32.9% said I don't know. If I were in government, if I were the leader of the Bermuda government, if I had a conscience, if it wasn't about filling my pocket and taking care of me, that would actually hurt. It would hurt. It would make me feel like crap, because it would make me feel like, as a CEO, if everyone who's working with me at my company, and the majority, because I'm going to put that 41% and 32% together, if only 26% felt like this company is for them and it's a good company and they want to remain, I would feel like crap. I would feel like crap. Chances are the leadership of Bermuda don't feel that way, because whether people stay or not, they're making theirs. They'll be okay. And when Bermuda really, really hits the fan, they'll be long gone. But what are your thoughts? What needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda? Go ahead, Sanchi. You seem like you're ready.
No, I mean, Jamal asked me this question, but I think it's no surprise to everyone. Before I had Maddox, I was not living here. I was living in New York for 10 years. Prior to that, I went to school in the UK. If I didn't have Maddox, I wouldn't be here. But I feel like this question has so many twists and turns, and I wouldn't be here because I feel as if I do have lots of opportunities outside of Bermuda. I feel that when I do work and I'm outside of Bermuda, I'm happier, and it's not even financially, because I can say that there's been times where I actually make more money in Bermuda. But it's just a happier space for me, right? I chose to be here after having my son, because I think that family is important. And I think that, like, the core values that Bermuda has, I love that I'm able to instill that in my son. And at his young age, I can honestly say things have improved, and he has so many opportunities, especially in football. Like, the level of football that Maddox is playing at in our small island is amazing. If I was to take him overseas, in order for him to get to a racetrack, I would have to travel hours, right? So I feel like he's getting the best of so many things at his age. But I do feel as if when he turns maybe about 10, 11, it's time for us to move on. But then, in saying that, Jamal, there's so many people that are quick to leave Bermuda. I would love to see the percentage of people that come back. There are so many people that they think the UK is going to be this better life, and we're going to live, and it's going to be so great. And 2 years later, they're right back here working or looking for a job because it wasn't what they expected. It's just so many twists and turns to this question.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to know, I know Maya asked that question, and, I'd like to know, for Bermudians who have left, are considering leaving, or are not sure whether or not they're going to stay in Bermuda, the reasons for actually wanting to leave or leaving. I know for me, I just don't see the opportunities to grow necessarily in different spaces. I was talking to one of my former bosses in professional sports just this weekend, about different opportunities. And it amazed me as I was talking to my wife. I'm just like, there really are so many opportunities in the United States for me if I wanted to go that route. The thing is, when I lived in Bermuda, growing up in Bermuda, I always thought, man, in the US, you can move from California to New York and this and that. It's not that easy just picking up and leaving when you're like, maybe if you're single and you don't like, have any responsibilities places, but it's so much more. But the opportunities, one of my friends, he left Bermuda, him and his siblings when we were teens. He was about 13, 14, and his in Texas, and just the opportunities that, his children now have that they would have never had in Bermuda. And I think, for me, it's more or less, I wouldn't even say it's a government thing. I just think from a size, I think, Bermuda's very small for people with big ambitions, right? It is. That's not a shameful thing. However, Bermuda's a great testing market. Bermuda is a great testing market. I think there's a lot of opportunity for Bermudians in certain sectors, as you know, international business, in the reinsurance sector, captive. I just think there's certain spaces where Bermuda, you will have greater opportunities. But if you're talking about sports, if you're talking about the theater and arts, right? I remember a time when young people would be told not to go to school to study theater or the arts and so on. Like, what are you going to do with that here in Bermuda? And I'm just like, well, why can't we, promote and push young Bermudians to think and grow beyond Bermuda, and then come back and give back through some sort of foundation and so on. But I think, certain people's ambitions are just bigger than Bermuda. But what are your thoughts, audience? What needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda? And it's not, and I just want to say something, because I know Sancha mentioned it. For me, I don't even think about the UK only. I honestly don't. I just know so many Bermudians, talking to Sherry all the time. It's almost like talking to a Bermudian in the UK. It's always a new Bermudian in Atlanta. It's just like, oh, I was visited. I'm like, they're in Atlanta too. There are so many Bermudians in Canada. So many. We got Quentin Sherlock. He's in on the continent of Africa in Ghana. We've got Bermudians in Australia. We've got Bermudians just so many other places. So I don't want us to think that this is just a Bermudian UK thing. There are Bermudians. I always said this about Jamaicans. I'm like, man, there's got to be more Jamaicans outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica, because I see Jamaicans everywhere I go, right? Prideful people too. I think we're getting to that space, and it's not a bad thing.
But have you traveled and then you run into a Bermudian and you were like, far, and you're like, what are you doing here?
We were in Barcelona in a nightclub in 2009. And I went to the DJ. I said, yo, man, play some Carly Buds. Carly Buds was pretty popular back then in 2009. And DJ says, what? You're Bermudian? I said, yeah. He says, me too. His DJ, what was his name? Damon or something like that. Anyway, I was shocked. I was like, no way, in Barcelona you bump into a Bermudian?
That's the one thing that I do love about us. We're not afraid to travel and go far and wide. And I think that even though we come from like this little space, this little island, it opens us up, and our mind and our creativity and imagination to go wide and far. So
yeah, I think I want to say this. It's not a bad thing to leave Bermuda, but it's not a bad thing to stay either. I want to say that, because I think we tend to think, we choose sides and say, oh, people they've got so much to say, but they don't live here. And then there's this other side where, oh, I hate Bermuda. I'm glad I left. Folks, you don't have to choose a side. All of us have different reasons for staying and different reasons for leaving.
And I also think that, imagine if people didn't leave. You know what I mean? The amount of knowledge and what you bring back into your space. You know what I mean? Once you've been exposed, I think it only makes us better.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, folks, don't forget, we're going to be giving away a prize later on we did a poll on our Facebook this past weekend. The question basically was, which one of the hosts in the question had a pet dog named Pause? And of course, if you watch the show, you know who has a pet named Pause, right? Let's go to the audience. What needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda? Michael Daniels says, how does Bermuda compare with other islands? You tell us. Let us know, Michael Daniels. Rosalind Famous says, very good question. I don't know the answer. What are the top reasons for people leaving? That's what we asked. And she says, one Bermudian in Puerto Rico. See, do you believe that you could have done the work that you do in Puerto Rico in Bermuda, Rosalind. Cherie Dill says, I don't know about keep them there, but we want them to always call Bermuda home and be able to attract the talent back for periods of time. It should be fluid, come and go. And that's part of our second question about attracting top talent, because I'm going to just go ahead since Cherie went ahead. I believe that part of attracting top talent to Bermuda is attracting the best Bermudians back onto the island. But what do you think needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda? I think we've got some very talented Bermudians outside of Bermuda. I'm not just talking about people in the arts and people in sport. There are people who have done very well in so many different spaces and places throughout the world. And I think, I want to pick on someone who I worked with, Christy Carey now, and she is, to me, has an entrepreneurial spirit that is second to none. She's done very well on her own, probably to herself could be doing better, but she has really developed relationships with, tourism, destination marketing organizations, hotels throughout, North America, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And I think she's a talent that Bermuda, from a relationship perspective, can utilize in so many different respects. And I'm not just talking about tourism, but she's a person that puts herself in spaces. And when she leaves these spaces, people know who she is. There's Bermudians outside of Bermuda who've worked for top companies like Deloitte and doing great things in recruitment and so on. There are Bermudians working in college spaces, is it Dr. Keto Swan, right? Doing very well for himself.
What about Tyrone Douglas?
Another one, Dr. Douglas, right? Yeah, he's done very well.
Doing really well. Michelle Smelly. Amazing.
Yes. Does she work for Spotify, one of those companies?
Was working for Spotify, and now she has moved on. I can't remember where she was, but she was just in Bermuda talking about NFTs. And to hear her speak, like Michelle has done. I remember Michelle and I both moved to New York around the same time, so we would run into each other a lot. Michelle's doing amazing things. I love to see it. There's so many people. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
So and I think that this question, it kind of, the first question we're asking now and where we're going to go, they're kind of two in the same. Because I look at it and, okay, so one of the questions that the viewer says, why are people leaving? I think it's for other opportunity. And I can also say, like, a lot of the times we talk about benefits, insurance. Insurance in Bermuda is so expensive. You know what I mean? Like, we can get better healthcare other places. And they relocate. It could be if they have an illness, or, they're relocating for better benefits. I've heard, like, in some situations. And I think that's part of it, of how we can get people here. If our benefits were better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, there are people, again, I always pick on Jasmine De Silva when she was on the show. Great, loves her job, loves her industry, couldn't ask for better. There are people in the IB space who feel like they are some of the best benefits in Bermuda that they won't get elsewhere. So I just think, regardless, and I say this all the time, right? And people, like to go politics. I've lived in 6 states, right, in the US. Florida's the greatest state I've lived in, politics aside. Oh, Florida's this and that, and your governor just banned this and that. I think Bermuda's the gem of all islands. I really do. Despite it's politics aside, I think Bermuda's a gem. No, Bermuda isn't as clean as it once was in terms of hedge. Like, to certain people, it used to be this pristine. Maybe it's not because we know it and call it home, right? But I think politics aside, we've just got it going on. Let's bring Maya in. I think we're getting in trouble. Let's bring Maya in, and we're going to continue the conversation. Don't go anywhere, because the second part is, how can Bermuda attract the best talent in the world? And that includes Bermudians back home. I think we had someone in the comments who just left Bermuda for pastures new in Europe. I'm one of the most talented Bermudians, if I say so myself. But let's bring Maya in for today's Daily Hour news break. It's been a weekend, so I'm sure she has a lot to share.
Good morning, guys.
Welcome. Happy Monday to you, Maya. Are you still laughing from my joke earlier?
Oh yeah, I'm just like cracking up so much in my head right now.
My goodness. I know. Yeah. Maya, thank you for doing that poll. And I just came across it, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a great question, especially I'm trying not to spend as much time on social media these days. I can count the amount of times I've been on Facebook this year, and then Twitter. It's playoff time in the NFL, and Manchester United's just stupid. So it's not good for my blood pressure. But I went on and I saw your poll, and I just felt I am more interested in the answers or responses to this question than probably anything in recent times, because you see so many Bermudians express themselves on Twitter and their thoughts more than any other social media platform. So I was very interested, but the results didn't surprise me. But just tell me, what made you ask that question at this time?
Oh man, that's a good question. So what actually made me think about it was just about like knowing that a lot of my friends are gone and hearing a lot of like people like you said on Twitter, that is like where most people put their opinions. So I've been reading a lot of I don't like being here, this island irritates me, this frustrated me today. So a lot of that. And so I was just like, okay, well, where are we right now as an island, as a consensus? Who actually wants to be here and who generally is trying to stay and who feels like they need to leave?
Mm, mm, mm. And I guess the results with what they were, and I just want to go back to them, folks. So the question was, how likely are you to spend the rest of your life in Bermuda? 26% say very likely this is home. 41.1% not likely, I'm leaving, and then 32.9% said I don't know. Based on who follows you on Twitter, did the results surprise you?
I was actually shocked at how many people participated. I'll say that. And how many people actually quoted and put the replies, of which I have in my story for this morning's news broadcast, so you guys can see some of the quotes that some people said and the reasons why they feel they need to leave. But I wasn't as shocked. I'm glad I put in that I don't know option at the bottom, because a lot of people are in that limbo space, like kind of figuring out, is the grass really green on the other side?
Okay, cool. All right, let's do it.
All right. So good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And here's what you may have missed over the weekend. On Friday, January the 20th, police attended a report about a motor car on fire in Devonshire around 1:15 a.m. When the officers arrived, they spoke with a resident who informed them the fire had already been extinguished. The resident also reported having to put out their own small fire that was on their own porch. Apparently, the day before, on Thursday, around 12:44 a.m., police also received a report of another two-vehicle fire, two motor cars, also in Devonshire. Two persons were reportedly seen running away from the area shortly after the fire had started, and again, the fire was extinguished before the police arrived. 3 suspects have been arrested and taken into custody in connection with these two incidents. These matters are now under investigation.
That's crazy. People just setting fires, like that's a new thing.
Like the things we're doing to entertain ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad they have people in custody. Let's hope that's fetish is done.
Yeah. And coming up next on the news, exactly what we're talking about this morning. So again, as Jamal stated, I did have some questions over the Twitter weekend. So I asked, how likely were you to spend the rest of your life in Bermuda? And this is some of the responses on the side. The first one, I recently started to consider it crazy because I always said I'd never leave Bermuda. Now, next one says, I would love to come back when I finish my studies, but it's not feasible financially, and with the health complications I have neurological issues. I have heard stories about people dying waiting to see one there on the island. I'm not willing to put my life on the line. The next says, what's wild is leaving is becoming more and more of a decision made out of necessity as opposed to preference. And the final one that I have up for you guys today is Bermuda is home. I'd only leave under extreme circumstances. So those are some of the responses that I got under this question on Twitter.
Can I just say this? When I first left Bermuda in 2001 for school, I wanted to be back in Bermuda legit every opportunity. It wasn't, my mother was the one that said, no. You're not coming back every holiday. You're not coming back every break. You're there to learn. You will find, so I would have to go to my godfather in Atlanta because I was in Alabama. But I say that because when I first left, I didn't want to be outside of Bermuda. I always wanted to return. It was not until I got a big break in 2005 working at Radio Disney, the Walt Disney Company, the #2 media company in the world at the time, that I was like, wow, there's some big opportunities outside of Bermuda. That's when my mind changed. That's when you realize, wow, you can be a part of something that's always seems so far away from you. That was it for me. But interesting responses.
Yeah. And then
my mom made sure that I, at a young age, started traveling outside of Bermuda. So I started spending my summers in New York dancing for Dance School of Harlem at the age of 13, 14. And from there, I was just like, I'm never coming back. But then,
That you started early.
Sandra knew from jump.
Yeah.
Well, following up from that question, I had to go and ask another follow-up. So I had to ask everyone, well, if you want to leave Bermuda, what is your main reason for leaving? So I put this one on my Instagram. I did also put on the Twitter. You can find it underneath that same question, but Instagram just had a lot more engagement for this one. So I had 58% said it was affordability as to why they want to leave. 26% said career and opportunity. 11% said mindset or acceptance. And 5% said health or accessibility. Now, again, on the side here, I put a couple of responses as well. Most people were saying, I want to choose all the above, all the above, all the above. I got a lot of comments like that. And one specifically pretty long one here said, I like the questions. I've been in the US for almost 5 years now. Prices are cheap when you visit, but when you live here and you will quickly see a decrease in pay in most areas compared to Bermuda. Prices are rising here too, like Bermuda, groceries, for example. When I hear affordability, a big yes when it comes to buying a home compared to buying it in Bermuda.
Well, let's address that. I met him for the first time, took him to Polo with me. Dage Minus, who was on the show last week with Maya, his father yesterday, and we were talking about that at Polo. We were having a grand conversation, like no Polo was going on. And as he said, like prices are going up everywhere. Like when I see Bermuda, obviously there's a difference because, volume wise, the US, has greater volume. So, and shipping wise, it's a bit different. But home prices in Florida are not supposed to be what they are today, like $600,000 for your average 3-bedroom house, right? Those houses used to be like $250,000, $300,000, right? So things have gone up. As far as affordability, I think it's global. I believe it's global. I don't want people to think that Bermuda's challenges are Bermuda and Bermuda alone. I think how we respond to challenges is what makes us different.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up next on the news, as we are talking about inflation and rising of costs, eggs. So eggs have been a big talk in Bermuda about what is going on with the price of eggs. They keep going up. Well, if you didn't know, there is like this major flu going on right now in the States, an avian flu that has affected more than 50 million different types of birds, mainly chickens, in commercial areas. So yes, that is an added cause to why inflation has risen so much on eggs. So on Tuesday, January the 17th, I actually was around town. And I decided to pop in to a couple of grocery stores to see, well, who has the best value right now on 12 dozen eggs. So here's some price listings that I found. Price Right being the least expensive here at $5.29 for a carton of 12 dozen eggs. And then as you can see, moving on to the other locations, I went to Marketplace and I went to Lindo's there. So you can see those prices as well. A lot of the Dunkley's eggs are like $8.99, $8.99, and some other places like here on this next slide that I'm going to show. They can also be up to $9.25 at Arnold's and increasingly so at other places. So what we did find out recently from another Twitter conversation is that no, Dunkley's eggs are not local. Some people did think that. Windy Bank Farm is the only local eggs on the island, and you could also buy from Windy Bank directly, and you don't have to go to the grocery store to buy from them. But this is just some of the 10 that I went to, and that's just a little graphic for you guys to take a look at.
Yeah, hey folks, just be like me. I quit eating eggs about 4 years ago. So no, 5 years ago. So hey, look, cut it out of my diet, and I ain't gotta pay for them. But no, thank you for that, Maya. Honestly, thank you for the comparison. And eggs have gone up over here in the U.S. as well.
I only purchase local eggs. Like having eggs imported it always for some reason weirds me out. So I'm a Windy Bank egg eater.
But you know what Marcus Garvey would tell you at this time, right, folks? Marcus Garvey would tell you, If you have a problem with the price of eggs, go purchase yourself a rooster and a hen.
Well, you actually don't need the rooster.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if you have a rooster and a hen, you better eat those eggs really quick because then they'll turn to chickens. But if you just have hens, then they'll just continue to produce eggs and it'll always just be yolk and they won't turn into chickens.
There you go, folks. Go get yourself a hen.
Just, I know a lot of information. You've been getting so many calls at Noah's Ark lately just because of the rising cost of eggs. Everyone's asking, how much does it cost to set up your own little hen farm at your house? So yes, we have been getting a lot of that. I helped about 3 people start up.
That's brilliant. And that is brilliant to me. And that's what we should be doing. Like, honestly, folks, Mark Bean said it some years ago. Like he said, look, you got a problem with the price of toilet paper? Well, go find a way to create your own business and sell your own toilet paper. And well, someone did do that when everyone was going crazy over wiping themselves during the pandemic, but whatever. What else you got for us, Maya?
Well, yesterday would have been the 50th anniversary of Roe v. Wade had it not been overturned last year. So in light of that terrible news, here is some just updates and reminders. When Roe v. Wade was being talked about initially in Bermuda, I decided to dive into Bermuda's abortion laws, and you can find that on my Media Maya page. And from that conversation actually sparked my relationship with Camina Lorray, where we started having sex education articles put out on my site as well, to help bring light to the situation away and also the lack of sex education on the island.
Interesting. I'm going to be honest, and this is my ignorance. I did not know what Roe versus Wade was until I came to the U.S. in 2001. I mean, some of you might say, oh, well, that's not bad. But, I think people like Maya, they're not in the U.S. or have lived in the U.S. and knowing about it. So my point is, it's good to learn things beyond the shores of where you live, because some countries actually look at what others are doing to create their own legislation and policies. So that's my point. So thank you for you guys taking that on, Maya.
Yeah. And just a little refresher. So Roe v. Wade was a law that was put through in the 1970s that basically prohibited government from trying to put any restrictions for women trying to get abortion and just a lot of different things when it comes to reproduction rights. So that had been overturned recently last year.
Yeah. Karen Simmons, Maya says, I can't wait for your news report on how much it costs to raise your own hens and egg production. And yes, Charles, I did. I just got a birds and the bees lesson. Science, biology, whatever it is, it ain't my thing, bro. I'm about to go ask how a babe is made. But what else you got for us, Maya?
Well, closing up, bringing it back to Bermuda. Bermuda Center of Cancer and Health is gearing up for the 10th annual Relay for Life. Relay for Life team hashed out and head over to Race Day World because registration is open for Relay for Life. The date for Relay for Life kicks off February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the city of Hamilton.
Isn't it usually in May, or is that something different?
It's in May.
I thought she just said February 1st or something.
That's when this comes on to kick off the events pretty early this year. I guess they just want to get more participation, so they have registration open for Relay for Life.
So I think it's their 10th year anniversary. So they're trying to do a huge celebration. Okay. So I knew that the actual event up at National Stadium, I think it's May 12th this year, but they're probably doing other things to celebrate their 10th year anniversary. Or maybe they opened early to make it as big as possible.
Yeah, try to get as much people to participate as possible. Yeah.
Cool. What else you got for us, man?
Well, closing out, I only have the weather for you, but I want to know if, Sancho, if you want to take it away or not.
To the left.
Well, it's actually looking like it's saying that sunny spells that will develop later in the afternoon with the chance of a sprinkle or two coming in first. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like very strong winds, but it's saying that we might get some gale force winds early in this morning as well. And we have a little bit of light showers possibly, but we have a high of 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right. I want to say this. That news break was actually one of the longest we've had, but I'm going to say this. She doesn't like when I put on the spot, but I am so grateful. Not for those computer noises, folks. We'll fix that. Don't worry. But I'm grateful that you put in so much work to give that information, Maya. Context is everything. Context is everything. And I think that this audience, we got a lot of feedback after the show, but I appreciate that this audience appreciates the work that you're doing to share this information to them. So thank you for using your gas. Greater Dunberg wouldn't appreciate that part, but using your gas and your time to go around to these stores and do this research, so that we can have context to what is actually happening. Because I say it all the time, people in business are not just trying to take advantage of people. There's context around why prices and things change. So thank you for that. Sanchi, you've got days of the year for us?
I do. Today is National Pie Day. From chicken to apple, pecan to mushroom, indulge in classic pastry stuffed with any filling you fancy by visiting a bakery or hosting a pie contest. We're going to need more days of the year if we want to have a celebration for every type of food in existence. But luckily, most of the most important foods, such as pies, already have their date assigned.
Oh, well, you know what? My Daniel fast ended on Saturday, and I can eat some pie, and how I make myself feel better, if I'm eating, I say, well, apple, that's fruit, right? Apple pie. We've got carrot cake. Well, carrots is vegetable. So any kind of stuff like that you all want to just pass, give me some ideas, please, just help a brother out. But I want to say,
I thought we were big on lifestyles, Jamal.
oh, right. But one cheat day a week. One. Yeah. The Rock has one, right? No, I'm going for two. I'm not.
Okay.
Are we comparing ourselves to Dwayne the Rock Johnson right now?
Wow. but real quickly, I did have myself a Heineken Zero yesterday in celebration, and guess what I put on the grill, and it was really great. I welcomed chicken back to my diet, and I put some jerk chicken on the grill yesterday, folks. So it was I'm doing 2 cheat days. Hold me to it. 2 cheat days. All right.
All sorts of confused as to we need to have this conversation in private.
Okay, we'll have it in private. Maya, thank you so much. Oh, real before you go, Tamara said, she says, good pull. As a Jamaican, many want to migrate for economic opportunities. Many go in Canada or US. Interesting. We're going to continue the conversation when we come back. Going to take a quick break. Maya, have a wonderful day.
You guys have a great day too.
Thanks so much. All right, folks, stick with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Sancha Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, if you don't know, well, now you no longer need social media to tune into Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. You can simply go onto our website, thedailyhour.com. We're streaming live every day of the week. Well, when we show up to work, that is. Also, let's do a little giveaway. So we had a question on our Facebook this past weekend. So the question was, pause was a big part of our conversations this last week. Answer correctly for your chance to win a $50 gift card to a TDH partner of your choice. The winner will be announced on Monday, the 23rd of January, 2023. So the question was, which of the following TDH members has a dog named Pause? A, Senja, B, Sherry, C, Tamara, or D, Phil? Now, I believe Phil has a dog, but I don't know Phil's dog's name, right? Tamara, she just told you last week, respectfully, she doesn't like dogs. And Sherry, Sherry. So
Sherry, she got a dog recently.
No, she was pet sitting.
Oh.
Yeah, she was pet sitting. And yeah. Oh, you're talking about her mom's dog that she had?
No, I saw before.
The other one, yeah, she was pet sitting. Yeah.
Okay, I thought she got a dog. I missed that.
Well, everyone seemed to get it right. That means everyone pays attention. So the name picked out was Denise Simons. I think that's it. Denise Simons. So you are the winner of that, Denise Simons. So congratulations to you. Let's give her a little. Yeah, so she wins that. So Denise Simons, you can send an email to engage@thedailyhour.com to collect your winnings. You get a $50 gift card to any one of our partners of your choice. That would be One Communications, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, Medical House. All right, or NMAC. Sorry. But let's get back to the question. We started asking what needs to be done to keep Bermudians in Bermuda. Let's go. How can Bermuda attract the best talent in the world? And some people may think it's one and the same, but one of Bermuda's biggest problems right now is they need people. You need people. We need people. One of the things in the U.S., and I've been reading a lot of articles, is with all these layoffs in the United States, a lot of people were on work visas, and some of them given 60 days to leave the U.S. In my opinion, Bermuda should be pouncing right now, offering them opportunities. What those opportunities are, I don't know. Offer them opportunities these are software developers, come to Bermuda and kickstart your economy in the IT space. Create your Silicon Valley. Instead of building another hotel up on Morgan's Point, create your own Silicon Valley up there. That's just me thinking out loud, folks. I have no knowledge of how that can happen. I'm just thinking out loud. But what I see in those issues is possible opportunities for Bermuda. I don't know what your thoughts are, but the question is, how can Bermuda attract the best talent in the world? What you got, Sanj?
I mean, I started thinking as soon as you said that when Jasmine came on in the IB space, I mean, they kind of have it, whereas people are coming to Bermuda because of how, they are situated and how the business is built and the benefits that they're getting and the pay that they're getting. So how do we model other careers off of that, which actually attracts people to Bermuda? I think is a good question. I don't know what those answers are. I honestly, I don't know.
Again, I'm thinking out loud. I don't have any professional experience in immigration law or how it would work. But I mean, if the what's the immigration minister? Is it Jason Hayward? Is he?
Yeah.
If Jason Hayward needs an idea, brother, honestly, just go on your LinkedIn page. You're very active on LinkedIn. Create a post. If you just got laid off by Amazon, Twitter, Google, please get in touch with me. Here's my email address. I would like to talk to you. You don't have to offer anything. Just get an idea of what it is they do and how they can create industry. That's true networking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I see so many opportunities in that. And to me, that's how we have to respond. That's not desperate. That's business. That's business. Bermuda needs to attract people, and there are a lot of talented people. These people are software engineers. These are people who are behind some of the biggest companies in the world. Companies that all of us use.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Sanj.
No, I think, and I always feel like I have to tiptoe sometimes. I think that the people that we are attracting at this point, how beneficial are they to Bermuda on a whole, our industries. I feel like they're kind of lower paid.
Correct.
And sorry, I'm trying to choose my words wisely. I feel like they're lower paid, and a lot of we had a side conversation not too long ago with this payroll tax situation.
Mhm.
We're paying back payroll tax dollars to people that are making less than 60,000 or whatever that looks like. And those are the people that are receiving a lot of this money and just taking it out of our island back home, right? And we need to try to attract people that are making a higher pay scale
Mhm.
so that it can be beneficial to Bermuda.
I get.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I get you. I absolutely understand what you mean. And that should be the goal. And I think, the suggestion I'm giving is pretty much aligns with what you're saying. Like, we need to go after those people. Like right now, I hope they're in a room discussing how they can go after these kind of folks and help them create industry. I believe that the government thinks that fintech will be a great thing for Bermuda, and time will tell. I'm not gonna be here and crap on it. There are a lot of things that people crapped on because they didn't seem to work out at first, and then they actually came through. Mikel Arteta from Arsenal. Everyone wanted him fired the last 3 years. Look at him now, right? So I don't want to jump on too early and say, oh, fintech's a bad idea. I don't understand it enough to say it is. Yes, it's got its challenges, right? But I also think there are other opportunities, and I don't think the government or Bermuda, or maybe it's the Bermuda Business Development Agency, I don't know, but I just see an opportunity in attracting some of these people, especially the ones who have probably been asked to leave the United States or have to by law leave the United States within 60 days, which is harsh when you're just being, laid off. Like, you don't have time. Like, it takes normal people a bit of time to kind of, get their self together and move if let's say they have to go right across the world. So what are your thoughts, folks? How can Bermuda attract the best talent in the world? Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, we live in a modern society and our internet speeds have come a long way. We can have software engineers work here and add to our society. I agree. Yeah, I just think the opportunities are there. But I think there's another part, like attracting, if you're talking about attracting some of the best talent in the world, we definitely can't ignore some of the best Bermudians. And I think Charles gave a correction earlier.
Yes, Charles.
Yeah, Charles said, I think that was Michelle's sister, Stephanie, who works for Spotify or boards.
Definitely Stephanie.
Yeah,
I went to school with both of them. Sorry.
No problem. Rosalind Famous Century.
I would like there to be more effort in attracting Bermudian talent back home rather than blank incentives to rich non-Bermudians. That often leads to displacement of the population. I
don't disagree with you. That's why I think I said there are a lot of Bermudians outside of Bermuda, talented Bermudians who are doing things in other places that could benefit Bermuda. I really do believe that we need to put an emphasis on that. So I don't disagree with you, Rosalind Famous. I named a few talented Bermudians earlier, and I'm sure we can keep going and going and going. And, the thing about them is Bermuda, they have a connection to the island. So as Sancha mentioned earlier, it's not like the money would be leaving Bermuda, if that makes sense.
I also need to say this. I feel as if the powers that be, our government, I hate to go back to this, they need to be open to the talents that are overseas. Mm-hmm. And welcoming them back, because a lot of times we go out, we hire people to come back and tell us what we should be doing, and we have Bermudians in that space that are well versed. They're respected in so many different ways, but we prefer to listen to someone else and feel like they're an expert because they came from somewhere else. We have to respect the talent that is out there and invite them back when it's time. I don't think that happens all of the time, and I think that that's where we lose out. It's been many times where I've seen it's spaces, especially in an entertainment space, where it's like I could have given them that advice 10 times over, and you're hiring somebody that doesn't even understand our space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get you. I think that's a challenge even in football. It's like, people feel like as soon as you hear a British accent, they're an expert at football, and that's just not the case. Ines Luby says Bermuda is not a place open to broad ideas. If you welcomed your talent like you welcome the overseas worker, then Bermuda would start to win. I don't know. I kind of agree and I don't. I think Bermuda values Bermudians. It's certain Bermudians. It's a friends and family plan, right? You look at how the government operates. If you're in that clique, you will get rewarded, right? So I don't think it's necessarily valuing foreigners over Bermudians all the time. It depends certain spaces. Maybe I think in a space like business, yeah, I think that's probably true. But in government, I think it's a bit different. But I take his point, and I don't disregard it, because it's the same point you just made. I'm not disagreeing wholeheartedly. I just think it's more to it, depending on which space. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, we can sell the fact that your daily commute will only be 30 to 40 minute tops. Our weather is favorable compared to the East Coast. Do you know that there are commutes much shorter than that in the US? I think what it is you can't sell the time. You have to sell the distance, because my commute to work is the length of Bermuda, but it only takes me 25 minutes, right? My old commute to work was 2 lengths of Bermuda. It took me about 45 minutes. So you got to sell distance, not time.
But I'm not quite sure people really, whether that's a factor, because once you do that short commute, you're still in a space where you can't get the products that you used to readily. You have to be okay with that. Everything closes early. And you're used to going to a restaurant at 10 o'clock at night, and we're taking our last seat in at 8:39 here. Those things, when people are coming from overseas, it becomes unfavorable. I don't want to be here because I want to be able to have a late dinner, and it doesn't happen. Grocery stores close super early. I can't go grocery shopping late at night. So I think it's those things that, having things readily available at your fingertips that mean, well, I know to me a lot. I'm fine. I've lived, if you're coming from a place where you're used to driving a distance to go to work, yes, that's cool. But that Amazon, it'll shop overnight. I mean, it'll ship.
But also keep in mind, in those spaces, people are not commuting anymore anyway. Real quickly, Michelle White says, is it possible that there are talented Bermudians out there working in high-end jobs who are not interested or don't know how to create a business in their field? Engineers can make BDA a tech hub. Yeah, quite possible. But that's why you create opportunities for them. Media Maya says, Minister Darrell says his ministry will be conducting a virtual town hall for current university students to ask what they need to come back home, part of the National Youth Strategy. Charles H. Jefferson II says 2 things. 1, we need to make the immigration process easier for children and grandchildren born outside of Bermuda. And 2, I think there should be some sort of fund set up to help Bermudians migrate back. Fund with this broke government. Rosalind Famous says attracting talent also needs to go hand in hand with efforts to empower the vulnerable members of the society. And everything I do comes back to that point that she just made. I think everything that I do has to benefit society's most vulnerable. And I think that's how countries and governments should operate. We're going to take our last break. We'll come back, Daily Play, and wrap it up with our final thoughts. Folks, thanks for hanging out with us. Do not forget, as someone mentioned earlier, I think it was said there were 63 people watching on YouTube and only 5 likes. Just like the post. But I want to answer a question also, because someone, what's his name, asked me, says The Rock works out every day. Do I? Well, I damn well exercise every day. So to answer your question, yes. Let's go to a quick break. Stick with us and we'll come back and wrap it up.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right, folks, welcome back. If you've appreciated today's discussion and conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and also make sure you're subscribed on our website. Some of you think you're subscribed, but you're not. Just go on the website. It'll prompt you to just put your email address in. You don't want to miss what we have coming up. So just make sure you're subscribed on our website, thedailyhour.com. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like if you've enjoyed today's show. Thanks again to One Communications, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we're able to have these conversations with you. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sandra, are you ready?
Let's go. I'm not who said it, but let's try.
Oh, this is an easy one. It's a who said it. A quote, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
I do. I'm just going to start guessing random names. MLK.
It is Dr. Martin Luther King. Yes, it is. That we didn't have a show, obviously, as we observed his birthday last week. But yes, that is one of his most famous quotes. No, it's not Malcolm X. We got a few people saying Malcolm X, but it's not Malcolm X. It was Dr. King. Yeah, injustice anywhere. It's a threat to justice everywhere. Dr. King. Anyway, let's go through some final thoughts on today's discussion. Keeping Bermudians in Bermuda and our focus of attracting top talent to Bermuda.
I'm really happy that Maya has brought this topic to light. Seeing what people had to say and the reasons for leaving, and we have work to do. A lot of it was just we don't know how, right? So we need to start these discussions, and I guess it starts here with us, and it opens up the idea and the door for those discussions so that we can collectively try to make this better and try to come up with solutions. As far as people leaving, as you said, I think there's benefits to that. Right? It's not always a bad thing that someone is leaving, but when they're leaving for things that we can kind of work on and control, you should be given the option based on that. It shouldn't be, I'm leaving because it's just way too expensive, or I can't find, if you're in an industry where you cannot find something within your industry and you know that it's better opportunities, and yeah, but not because you can't get good health care or, you can't afford the eggs at the grocery store. So.
Yeah, I get you. Again, I say it's not a bad thing to leave the place you call home, and it's not a bad thing to stay. We all have different journeys. We live different lives, and we will make decisions based on the life that we want, or sometimes the life that we need, right? At the end of the day, I think that there are certain things that Bermuda just cannot offer. And some of these are opportunities, in professional sport, for instance, or theater, right? There are certain things Bermuda just cannot offer. And for that, I completely understand why people leave. As far as attracting top talent to Bermuda, we have to be quick and we have to be smart. You have to create industry at times, right? Maybe it's time to say, you know what, instead of another resort up on Morgan's Point, let's create something different. Let's create a city for locals to do business and so on. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Before we go to your daily inspiration, I just want to call Maya out. Let's first thing. His question was, do I work out every day? I know how much The Rock works out. I don't have time. Unfortunately, I'm not a millionaire like The Rock. So I have 2 full-time jobs I have to work. So I don't have time to be in a gym like The Rock. All right, lady? And Tamara, don't get in one with that lady. Don't you? The newsletters jumping me. Like, they're jumping me.
I don't even know why you try to compare yourself to him.
I
What? That's your own front door.
I'm having a cheat day like The Rock. That's what I said. All right. They trying to jump me. I'm gonna trip them both. Anyway, what you got daily inspiration for us?
Don't spend time beating on a wall hoping to transform it into a door. And that was by Coco Chanel.
I like that. All right, Coco Chanel. Is that Ice-T's wife? I don't know these folks.
Chanel.
Who's Coco Chanel?
Are you serious?
That's Chanel the thing?
Yes, Chanel, one of the biggest designers in the world. Like, what?
Okay. No, I just saw something about Ice-T's wife. I'm sorry, folks. Okay, cool. Let me on that note.
Do you know how much a Chanel bag costs? And you're talking about Ice-T's wife?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you just totally disrespected the fashion world.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. On that note, I'm gonna head out, folks. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of the daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. We've got Zach Munnis. We're talking the rising price of groceries in Bermuda tomorrow. So she's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and a great day. Coco Chanel. Okay, got you. Sorry.